yes, I think you already mentioned to me ki, in school they did a lot of, they provided a lot of support for them to learn French. So what kind of support they provided, right? That's one question. Another one question I have. So when you say they are French school, so do they have English as a subject or not at all?
But it's much later in the studies.
Oh.
It's not in standard 4 or 5. It starts in after standard 8, no?
Yes, so it's basically the third year of the secondary. So here, as Sumedha mentioned, first 6 years is primary, and then the next 6 years is secondary. So in the third year of the secondary, which is equivalent of the 9th standard in India, would be the class or level when student starts English.
That is in French medium school. But in Dutch school, means Netherlands, the school that actually follow Netherlands language, they start English much earlier.
Okay.
But French schools, they don't love English that much.
But then when they start at 9th, it will be very basic, right?
Yeah, it's really basic. So my daughter, she has opted not to regularly do the classes of English. She sometimes go for evaluations, and that is okay for her. The teacher has provided, since she has already studied the basic of English previously, so she is actually, it's not required for her to do the regular classes of English sometimes. So, but during for the question, you what sort of support school provides? It's very interesting. One thing we both of us forgot is the school days. Here, the school days are Monday and Tuesday are full school day. Thursday and Friday are full school day. But Wednesday, that is the midday, the middle of the week, they have a half school. That is always all the schools throughout Belgium and also France, they have school until 12 noon. So once the school is over, then the students can just go for co-curricular activities. Sometimes they go for music lessons. Sometimes they go for theater lessons. They go for different instruments. Means it's all the communes. Commune means municipalities of different different municipalities throughout Brussels. They have different academies which are music academies. So it's a very common thing here. When we arrived here, it was really amazing to see that all the kids, they learn something or other instrument.
Musical
instrument. And sometimes they are also singing, means vocal training also. And I think that gives another option to out of the school activities, that also gives you another for the kids to communicate with other friends. They make new friends there also. And so this co-curricular activity is also a very significant and relevant part of the primary education system here. All the kids, they actually have this co-curricular activities. Apart from that, they have the swimming training, they have the gym classes that also are very common in the regular routine, and they have some tours. So that is another part where they become a little bit independent.
Okay, fine.
So maybe I can add a little bit where what Sumedha told is apart from these co-curricular activities and the training on swimming, which is mandatory for all the students in case there is no medical condition, medical emergencies or a medical condition of the student. So swimming is mandatory, and then the tours. And apart from that, another support system for the primary students and students who need mental support is the PMS. So there is a department of PMS, which is psychosocial and mental support for the students. Now, here, what these departments do is they have kind of psychologists with them who attends different students who has, let's say, different type of issues which are not related to mental disorders, but then could be related to, let's say, violence in the family, or let's say could be related to depression, or could be related to nervousness, or could be related to, let's say, fight among friends. So there can be different issues which directly affect the mental health of a student, and there these departments, the psychologist or doctor, they are very active. They do counseling of the students to help them overcome these type of issues. So that's the PMS system which is there in every school. Apart from that, for the primary students and the students who are not yet in primary, but in let's say lower kindergarten or maternal. So that system is called maternal in Belgium. So for those students, obviously the school hours are much less. So for them, there is a system of garderie, which is more or less known as
garderie, with a kind of creche.
Yes.
Actually, garderie or extra hours in school, they actually provide help for the parents. Because for my kids also, they had to stay sometimes in garderie because I was working in Lille. So I was commuting to France regularly from Belgium. And until 6:30 p.m., the kids can stay back in school, and there will be some teachers of the garderie who help them to do their homework or stay there calm. They will just finish their food. Means if we provided some lunch box, extra tiffin box, they will oversee whether the kids have eaten the thing, and we can just go and pick them up after 6:30. So it's another helping hand the school provides for the parents, because the kids are not allowed to stay at home alone until 12 years of age.
Okay. So does it come with extra cost, or it's a part of?
No, garderie, there is a charge for the garderie.
The charge for that.
Okay. But it's very nominal.
Yeah.
It's affordable.
Okay. So if it is inside the school premises, it's with a nominal charge, and even the charges which are incurred for these type of services, you get them. There is a tax benefit at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So the school will provide the parents with a certificate which they can claim the tax benefit.
Okay.
So that was really nice, and for the school to provide this help to us, it was like.
So we have already discussed definitely some of the points. So what is the main difference which you see because your kids, they have studied here in India, and you yourself have studied in India, and now they are studying in Belgium. So what is the main difference you see in education system?
Less of competition, less pressure.
Yeah.
Actually, it was really difficult to understand when they started going to school here. I just remember one funny incident. We were just the day previous to summer vacation. I told the class teacher of my son that, okay, what are the things that I need to do for him during the summer vacation. He was really tensed. Okay. He was really, why you have to do anything? No, I just wanted to know in the summer vacation, how should I help him to know something more of any subject? Or no, it's not required. It's vacation, so it should be perfect vacation. So, it's really difficult for us Indian mothers to understand that vacation means vacation. But now I understand that they are not going to study. So it's a kind of sin to study during the vacation time.
जब स्कूल से ही बोल दिया नहीं पढ़ना सर तो
पढ़ना नहीं है. But that day he came, my son came, and he was telling me that we are going to have the Olympiads, and the teacher told that you should not practice, and the teacher told you should not practice maths. It can't be. You should not go ahead of what has been done in your class. That is okay, but you should not practice That cannot be. So, it's much less pressure and much less competition here. So that's really true.
So that's one aspect, and the second aspect is the autonomy. Here, a main difference between the education system in the Asian countries and in the European countries is that the teacher will provide you much more freedom in European countries to carry out certain tasks or to prepare your own assignment or prepare your own thesis. So in whichever level you are in the education system, you can be in the school or you might be in the college or in the universities studying undergrad or postgrad courses, but there you have much more freedom or autonomy to prepare your own lessons, your assignments, or your thesis. But then it comes with a lot of hardship also. It can sound like, well, I have a lot of freedom, so I can do anything. No. So that also means that those assignments are very critically reviewed by the teachers. And then due to the very critical evaluation, the quality of those assignments or lessons have to be very top-notch.
It's much more independence that comes through this process in school. Means I can just give you one instance that in standard 7 or standard 8, they were given one assignment. I just saw that my daughter is watching the news every day, and she is collecting every detail of the news and what is the assignment that is there. So it's the whole week. The priority means you have to categorically present and as a news reader the world news in front of the class, and that too you have to prepare the visuals and everything, which is available sometimes in the YouTube and all. But you have to edit it and present, and you are just reading the news in front. You have to edit it like that. So in the process they actually learn how to do the thing, and they also know how one thing can be given the priority over the other. So it's not that you have to discuss politics, but you have to discuss games, but it's which one is important, health wise what comes first, or society wise what should be prioritized. So it's on that basis they will be evaluated. So it's kind of really a nice thing. I saw that.
So you mean like lot of out of textbook studies?
Yes,
absolutely.
And a lot of project based where they themselves they have to themselves research and find it and compile it and present it.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I must just share one thing with you that is interesting, because my sister's daughter, my niece, she has completed her graduation from Amsterdam, Vrije University Amsterdam, and now she is doing her postgrad in Leuven University, Belgium. And I used to see her. She used to pay a visit every weekend here at my place. So I used to see her doing the assignments from her graduation, and they were really tough. Means I could just go back to my graduation days, maybe that it's an old school, old world thing. And now the graduation students, maybe they are much advanced. But what I notice is is she has to do it by herself. And a teacher here in the graduation studies or post-graduation studies, the teachers are facilitator. They are not the ones there that will actually, there is no hand-holding. So there is no hand-holding for you. Yeah, you have to do it by yourself. So whatever, when you are presenting the thesis, it's your thesis. It's really very independent.
So so that's a project, project based or learn by yourself. So how is the subjects taught? Do all the subjects taught in that way, or I'm sure there are many subjects which are very theoretical, you have to learn. So is there any difference in that, or it's also different from how we are taught here in India?
No, I will say that all the subjects are taught in a different way. Because talking about history or geography, they are given some assignments on rainfall, or history means they just have to do some museum surveys or like that. Means you have to do like this. And the most interesting part, I must say, that after selecting whether you go for science or arts, in India we generally do it after our 10th standard. But here, the students have to select extra hours of science or extra hours of literature or language like that from after the 8th standard. So from the 3rd secondary onwards, the students decide to take up extra hours of mathematics or extra hours of chemistry, depending upon their choice. But at the same time, it is very astonishing for me that until the 12th standard, they have to study history, geography, and all the languages. So it's not that a person who is going to do his graduation in science is actually relieved from history or geography. They have to continue until their 12th standard, in French medium schools at least.
Okay.
And that too in a real big way. Okay. Apart from that, there is another language. Sometimes there is a provision that you can study another language. Means there are options in different schools that you can study Latin or Spanish. Apart from French, Dutch, and English, there is another language that you can take up.
So our daughter is studying Latin. So as Sumedha mentioned, she's very keen in linguistic studies. So she has taken up Latin. And this is, I think, the 3rd year of her Latin, right?
Yeah.
3rd year of her Latin learning.
It's really, really nice. So Latin, I think other day we were discussing, because our son, he had a German partner for this German exchange program. She was also learning Latin and Spanish. So we were just having a discussion. Then we were just saying Latin is very similar to how we have Sanskrit in English.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? Very ancient language and many words, because when we also learn many, scientific words, that Latin and
that is the point which my daughter clarifies. I asked her that why you are toiling out for this Latin. It's a different language you have to study. She told me it's good that I can understand why a particular organism is named like this. You have studied so many scientific names, but do you know what is the meaning of this? It's so easy to remember. Also the chemicals, she's telling, it's much easy to remember now because I can understand why.
Yes.
It's a different way of seeing things.
Yes. And initially you were saying that, your daughter, she picked up language much faster than your son. But this is a trend I think I have seen. The girls are very good with the languages as compared to boys, because I teach Mandarin language, right? So I have also seen many students, those who are girls or females, they pick up very fast as compared to...
I think they speak more for that reason. The best way to learn a language is to speak it. So in my French class also, the men, they hardly speak. So it's all the ladies, we are striving hard to make us understand. So what I want to say, it's really fun.
Right. Yeah. So now coming to school timings, you already mentioned that you have, Monday, Tuesday is the full day school, and the middle of the week you have a half day, and then Thursday, Friday, right? And then Saturday, Sundays are off. Okay. And what are the school timings usually?
Generally, it starts from 8:15 in the morning.
Okay.
And until the primary education, it's 3:15 when it ends. So for the primary, until the primary, and maternal ends a little bit earlier.
This is the kindergarten.
Kindergarten, and they can, but the primary students and the maternal kids, they can stay back in the gardery if their parents are not available at home, or else the parents would just go and pick them up from the school, since there is no school transport in the government schools. So they have to depend on public transport or bicycles, which is known as velo here. They use sometimes. And for the secondary, the timings are a little bit longer. They will start at the same time, but it ends sometimes according to the number of periods in per day. Means Monday it can end at 5. Tuesday maybe it is earlier at 4 p.m. So we have to know the schedule or the routine, and accordingly. Means it's not earlier than 3:30. It's going to be 4 p.m. or 5 p.m.
And so exam pattern, you told me that they have one in 6 after the 6th grade board exam, then they have 8th grade, and then 12 or 10th,
Yes.
then 12. And in between, do they have evaluations or assessments?
Yes, regular every year they have evaluations. Means during in the month of December, 3 evaluations. So they have these quarters, and then in the month of December they will be having one. Then afterwards in April, and then June. June is the final for the school. Actually, from July and August there are the 2 months of summer vacation here.
Okay.
So everything actually wraps up at June end or the first week of July, and the new session commences on September, first week of September.
That's uniform across all the European countries or European member states.
Right.
It's the same, but it's a little bit different for some of the holidays in the year. In this small country of Belgium, they have 2 different holiday patterns. The Netherlands school and the French school, they actually followed 2 different holiday patterns.
Okay. So apart from summer holidays, which is like July, August, 2 months, so what are the other holidays or breaks they usually have?
Every 2 months after every
I read somewhere, in some of the official texts, that in the European member states, it's common to have, or not common, I think it's essential to have a break of at least 1 or 2 weeks after 8 weeks of school days. So in that way, the holidays are placed. So for just a small example, if the school session starts in September, so ideally the 8th week of school will be at the end of October. So they will have a 2-week break after October.
Either 2 weeks or sometimes it's 1 week. But it is a break. And after this December end, there is another 2-week break. Then there will be another break in the end of February or the first week of March, like that.
So break means again pura break, no holiday, no work, no holiday work.
Sometimes it's very common in the schools that they give some books that they have to read and review the books. So in a way, that is the engagement for the holidays.
Okay.
Apart from the co-curricular activities and all that goes on, but the book reading is a very common thing, which is a part of the curriculum.
What kind of books they give?
They give various kinds of books. Sometimes it's French books only in French schools, but sometimes translated also, means English literature translated in French. That is also there, but it's various kinds of books.
It's mostly, I think, fictional.
Sometimes fictionals, and now it is sometimes the scientific stories also.
So thriller, fictional, scientific stories, all kinds of books.
So that they will just make a book review of that one.
So they have to write it and give it.
Previously, in the earlier classes, they used to have some questionnaire also after the vacation. Means when they go back to school, sometimes they will be asked some questions from the book itself. But now I see that it's not that mandatory, but they will write a review from the book itself.
And do they have homework on daily basis?
Sometimes they have, but it's not that big. But I will say that the children, means from the primary section and maternal, the maternal kids, they don't study. It's only
after coming home.
In school also, they are not, they don't study as such. Means it's more play, more singing, dancing, preparing some things. The maternal kids means until they are of which age? Means they start now.
5.
Means they start class 1 at 5, I think.
Yeah.
So 5 plus or so. So before that age, they just do all the fun things in school.
Yeah, so it's mostly how to communicate with people.
And they are taught how to eat, because it's mandatory that you have to eat the lunch there for the maternal kids.
Okay.
So how to eat, how you make a sandwich, and all these fun things they will be taught. Means more etiquette, yeah. It's more to make them a little bit independent. But once they are in higher classes, they're having a little bit of pressure of studies now, but it's not that pressure in comparison to India.
Yeah.
But it's more of studies now.
And so, as you mentioned that from 8th grade or third year of secondary or second year of secondary, they have to choose subjects, right? So now in India, what we do after 10th, I choose my field. If I have to go to science or commerce or arts, and then I study 2 years of, let's say, commerce, and then I, go for graduation in related field or whatever. So how is the system there? When the student decides I have to choose this particular field or this particular subject. Now in India also with NEP, this National Education Policies. Yeah, so there are going to be few changes, but still it has not been implemented and there is a lot of debate still going on. But let's assume still we are following the same old technique or same old process where after 10th student has to choose, one of the stream. So how is the system there when they have to choose, or how they can combine subjects, or how is it?
It's from the third year of secondary, that is from class standard 9 in India. They select whether the student wants to take more hours of mathematics. Means they will be given by different schools, they will be provided what are the different kinds of routine that a child can follow. Means it's not that because they will arrange accordingly according to the availability of the teacher or according to the availability of the classroom. That means they can plan for extra hours of mathematics, extra hours of science, means chemistry or lab, like that, because the lab also starts from standard 9. So like that. So from third secondary onwards they select, but I think it is not that very strict that they have to, if they have taken extra hours of chemistry, that they have to do the graduation in chemistry. That is not so. But it is that it solely depends upon the interest of the student. Means the teachers will guide them through that as per the assessment or as per the performance of the student. The teachers will help them to understand what is their maybe what they would like to pursue in their future, what they love to, will they love to do a laboratory based work, or will they love to do more of the mathematics or statistics, like that. So it's from that time they can choose their or select their path. But I think it remains open until they go
end
finally
of the secondary curriculum. Yeah. I mean it's mostly a great freedom to the students to choose their own path. Now our daughter Srinvanti, she's at the 5th secondary, which is the 11th standard in India. Now, she and her friends, they have a very close group of friends, they have also not decided regarding the final course, I mean, which course they want to take. So I think it's a very open choice to the students until now. But then starting from this year, the 5th secondary, they have different kind of guidance, as Sumedha was mentioning, different type of guidance from the teachers to assist them choose different field based on their interest or based on their passion, whatever.
And it's not only from the teachers only, because the student means in the school in which my kids are studying, for my daughter means for the 5th secondary, means who are in class 11 of India, the same age group, they are provided with a workshop kind of thing. It was an open evening for them. The school organized that, and all the parents were invited. Means it's from the Parents Association of the school. They actually conducted this workshop kind of thing. All the parents were invited to share their journey, means their educational journey or professional journey, and provide the ideas how the students can just follow, or if particularly supposedly if a particular student is interested in language, then how he or she is going to pursue that, what are the options where she can apply or he can just go for, or what are the trainings that he should look for afterwards after completing the secondary education, what are the kind of educational pathways she can follow. So every possible way, if a particular student is interested in being a chef, means for culinary skills. So there were parents who were actually discussing those ideas also. So what are the particular training he or she can look for? So like that, some parents were discussing about the physiotherapy. So it's varied ideas that were being discussed. So the students have many things to choose from a plate. So I felt that it's a good option.
What I feel is basically giving them a lot of exposure to different kind of professions, so that they can kind of, no, unless we are aware of different professions, our choice is also limited.
Yes.
Like in our time, it's only engineer and doctor, so we didn't know so many things, right? So
yes,
the more knowledge they have or more information they have, it also gives them more choice to choose from.
Yes.
One interesting point here is, since we are talking about different professions, what I have observed, I mean, we all have observed that in different public transport, mainly in the metros, they have consistently, in at least in Belgium, they have consistently one type of advertisement inside the metro coaches or carriers is news of different institutions which offers different type of professional courses. So apart from these type of advertisements, I have not seen. So probably it must have been a mandate from the government or from the public administration that you can only showcase one type of advertisement, and this is only one type of advertisement, which is the courses, or let's say open door trainings, courses,
open days.
Open
days from universities, they're very common. Open days of schools are very common in Belgium. It's very common that you can just go ahead and meet different people, and means for the job sector, there are different agencies, government agencies, who actually provide different formations. Formations means training programs. Means supposedly a person is graduate, means he or she has come from different country and now relocated in Belgium. He or she is a graduate of maybe English or any other language or history, geography, but now he or she wants to pursue a career in supposedly means as a chef or as a home cook, or he or she wants to open a business. Then he or she can opt for a particular formation, means training, that is for some fixed duration, for fixed hours. After completing that and successfully completing that, he or she will get a registration number from the government, so that he can now act as a chef. So a path is open, a job market is open to that. In that way, it is same for all other professions. So it's expected that you do a formation in training. Formation means training for a particular job. Like that.
So it's like very systematic and organized kind of a thing.
Yes.